Hi, I'm Marc Daniel Nelson here with Make Mine Music. Today I have a little special surprise for you. I got an email a few weeks back by an Aaron White asking if I had any analog tape multitracks I would like to share. It got me thinking, about 5 years ago I used to do a lot of sessions where I would actually do digital print and analog tape at the same time for two reasons. One was to have a safety while I was tracking, and the second one was to choose the sound and do a transfer of the tape into Pro Tools, compare the two back to back in sync, and then decide and then do overdubs and finish the project. So I'm going to open up a session I produced 5 years ago by the artist Joel Norman, who's a blues artist in Chicago. The cool thing about this project was we tracked it on my modded MCI JH24, and we malted into converters. So in real time, we did the full rhythm section live, to tape, and digital. And then afterwards, we flew the analog tape in, grouped it, lined it up in sync, and then decided to stay with tape and built the whole song around the tape format, finishing it in digital. So the vocals, the choir that we put on, the gospel choir we put on, the guitar parts, the B3, stuff like that, acoustic guitar was all digital. But the rhythm sections, the drums, the piano, the bass guitar, the electric guitar were all on the rhythm tape session. So here I have in my groups, and you can see it, in the red and baby blue is my tape, and then below it is my digital print. Now this is the exact same take, it was just malted at the same time in real time so I could do a capture. And this will give you a really cool example. I'm going to supply the multi-track so you guys can follow along and hear what analog tape does, because I know a lot of people have been asking for examples of what tape sounds like, and this is a perfect way to say here's the digital and here's the tape. So let's start it. Now obviously with tape you get hiss. This was tracked with no noise reduction. It was a modded MCI tape machine, but I ended up hitting it harder to get the effect of a little more creaminess to it. So you can hear it when I toggle between the two rhythm sections. That one is definitely more sharper, and then one has way more vibe, a little more creamy. And for this project, obviously that worked, but not always would that work. Let's start listening from the top. Right away you can hear the hiss. I believe this was a C5 grand piano. I'm going to go to digital. It's a lot sharper. Back to tape. To digital. Back to tape. What do I hear of this? I think a lot of it is obviously the tape compression and the analog hiss makes it nostalgic. It makes you feel familiar on what you're remembering of what tape does. For me, I grew up during cassette land and analog land, so hiss always makes me feel familiar, and that was really good to represent a track that had some vibe to it. Now the digital is cool because it makes the cymbals a little more defined, which is causing it a little sharper. So when there's a ride or a hi-hat, you get a little more of a groove off that. But I wouldn't say that's important for this type of music because it's more about the feel and the vibe than it is about the sonic high definition capture. Let's go to the middle when it actually kicks in. Now here's the digital. Back to tape. super subtle. Analog just is creamier. It's got a little more fullness, a little more body. It's floating. The analog tape, always everything, it sounds like it's on a format because obviously it's on a piece of tape. But it just sits a little better than the digital. Back to tape. Back to digital. You can really tell what the tape is doing when it starts pushing. There's breakup for sure, because I do remember I used to hit the tape a little hard on purpose on the drums to get a little distortion when it picked up, to add a little bit of fur. You don't get that in the digital print. You kind of get a capture and then that's it, which can be really great for some things, but not so great for others when you're trying to capture a vibe. Let's move on to the overdubs. Now, if you can see here, in your package, you're going to see everything labeled either tape, which is the first rhythm section print, or digital, which is obviously the digital print. And then after that, you're going to see here, if you want to come and check it out, everything else is a digital overdub. And we've got just a little bit of percussion, some guitar stuff, B3, and vocals and vibes. And then we have a gospel choir here, a really cool gospel choir, which was recorded by really great engineer Fred Norris at Free Flight Productions in Chicago. He's really good. He has his team of gospel singers that he puts together for tracks, and it always works amazing. But the cool thing is, after we used the analog tape version on the rhythm section, we built the track in Pro Tools with digital prints. We didn't go back to analog ever after that. The only time we hit analog again was after it was mastered and put it on vinyl. But for this, everything was digital. And you can still hear, if I play you the full track with the rhythm section, tape versus digital with the overdubs, that even the digital overdub starts changing. They sound different. The vocal starts sitting in a track better based off of the rhythm section, which is a really neat concept because the digital is digital. It shouldn't move, it shouldn't change, but it really does based around the movement of the rhythm section.
Take me down to the lakeside, take me down by the shady shore. Take the load up off my shoulder. I don't want to carry that no more. And lay it down by the lakeside.
Same place. Here is the tape print of the rhythm section with the digital overdubs.
Take me down to the lakeside, take me down by the shady shore. Take the load up off my shoulder. I don't want to carry that no more. And lay it down by the lakeside, lay it down by the shady shore. 'Cause we're traveling light. Yeah, we're traveling light.
Now the cool thing about that is what this is doing, since the tape compression is kicking in, you can hear things kind of smooth out, which when you have the digital overdubs, the analog tape rhythm hugs the overall digital overdubs. And it actually sounds way more 3D. Now again, listen to maybe just the verse. Let's go to the verse, and this is digital again. Just listen to the overall presentation.
Holding hands at the edge of the water, with a wondering smile saying, baby, it's about damn time.
Same time, same place. Here's the analog.
Holding hands at the edge of the water, with a wondering smile saying, baby, it's about damn time. He took her in his arms.
This isn't a mix. This is just tracks put together from the tracking session. And it's just apparent right away that tape for this song instantly glues it, instantly makes it vibe, instantly makes it familiar. And a lot of that salute is to analog tape. The way it kind of collapses things, the way it adds a little bit of zinging distortion, a little fur here and there, the hiss, which is familiar. It just makes it sound like a record. Let's go through the rhythm section on the breakdown and the choir.
Down by the water, down by the water, down by the water. Won't you lay your burdens down by the water, down by the water, down by the water. Won't you lay your burdens? Take your burdens off your shoulder now and lay it all down. Take.
Same spot. Here's the digital print with the same part. Breakdown.
Down by the water, down by the water, down by the water. Won't you lay your burdens down by the water, down by the water, down by the water. Won't you lay your burdens? Take your burdens off your shoulder now and lay it all down. Take your.
Certainly good still. But the thing about tape, once again, even at a lower volume and a low dynamic, the rhythm section is still hugging the digital choir. This was something that we went back and forth through the record, and I think we actually used one song we kept the digital rhythm section versus the tape. And I think a lot of it had to do with the speed of the song was a faster song, it had a more of a groove, and we needed a little more attention on the sharpness of the transients. But for this kind of mid-tempo R&B track, old school, it's perfect. Sounds great. And we can go and kind of focus on little things, but I think in general, you're going to have fun just going through it and playing with each sound. And this is a perfect representation of what analog versus digital is and why certain times it still does matter. So there it is. Enjoy the samples, enjoy the multi-tracks, have a safe week, and have fun.
Down by the water, down